If your social media feed has been anything like mine, you have been constantly seeing videos of the
Adidas Chinese New Year track jacket.
I thought they looked cool, and I wanted one of my own. But when I went to check the price...
What? We're flying to Philadelphia! Oh, hell no! Hell no! No!
Sorry, but I'm not spending $100 on a jacket. So I decided to make my own. And I'm bringing you along on my process to show you how to make your own too. Especially since I'm sure that most of us can't spend $100 on a jacket. First, we need to get a jacket. I decided to go to the thrift to get mine to save money. But you can also go to Depop or retail stores if you prefer to buy your jacket from there. If you want your jacket to have an oversized or baggy fit, I recommend looking through the men's section if you're a woman. Men's clothing usually has a baggier fit on female body types. If you're looking for a fitted style, then I recommend looking through the women's section. I decided on this Costco jacket because I liked the fit. Overall, the quality is not bad. Just the zipper for one of the small pockets is stuck in place because of dried paint on the slider and teeth, which is why I think it was donated to the thrift. Now to add the most important detail, the buttons. I was lazy and wanted to buy buttons, so I went to my local fabric store to see if they had any Chinese buttons, which are called frog closures. Sadly, they did not have any, and I went home empty-handed. I figured Chinatown would definitely have some, and I went there next. I was off on January 1st and figured most shops would be open since Chinese New Year is more important to Chinese people than the solar calendar New Year. But to my surprise, the only shop in Chinatown that was closed was a fabric and clothing store. How is that even possible? Ready to give up, I browsed Amazon to see if they had any I could order, but I didn't like any of the styles they had available. Therefore, I decided to make my own frog closures. I went to Walmart and bought black paracord for... If you prefer not to make your own buttons, you can buy pre-made ones from Chinatown, Amazon, or Walmart. If you want to make your own custom buttons like me, you'll need to buy your color of choice paracord and follow a button making tutorial. I went on Xiaohongshu to find a tutorial. Right now, butterfly knots are trending and I find them cute, so I decided to follow a butterfly tutorial for my buttons. If you don't have access to Xiaohongshu or other Chinese social media apps, you can find tutorials on YouTube. The number of buttons you need will depend on the size of your jacket, the spacing between each one, and the design of the buttons. If you're ordering online, I recommend checking the dimensions of the buttons in the product description. Then you can estimate where each one will go by marking the layout on your jacket using a fabric pen or chalk. This will help you figure out how many buttons you will need to order. I recommend ordering more than you need just in case you end up needing extras. Since I'm making my own buttons, I did not measure in advance. I'm a beginner and my buttons will not come out in a uniform shape, so I'll make them one by one until I have enough. After I finished the button, there was this part of the cord that I glued together to make it look like standard Chinese buttons. After I finished the knot, I placed them according to my preference. Because the cord is too thick for me to use sewing pins to hold them in place, I used blue tape. Once making all of the knots and placing them on the jacket, it's time to sew them down. If you don't know how to sew, you can use glue. However, I recommend sewing the buttons down, as it is more secure and will last longer than glue. If you know how to use a sewing machine, you can use it to sew them down. However, because the cord is so thick, my needle and machine are unable to handle it. Instead, I hand sewed each button onto my jacket. Once done, it should look something like this. I am so proud of how it turned out. I hope this tutorial was helpful in showing you how to make your own Adidas Chinese New Year jacket on a budget. Thanks for watching and happy crafting!